What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Taylor Hinton Speaks His Mind, the number one online health and fitness podcast in the world. And what we are going to be doing here today is going over some technique for our clients, Form Friday. This has been, as a bit of a heads up here for you guys, uh, for those of you who are regular listeners, I really appreciate you first and foremost. But secondly, want to just clear up something here. We haven't been doing other podcasts other than just these Form Friday ones. That is going to change. Schedule and things have been going on with my routine that have been making it more challenging for me to do more regular ones, but I'm making time to do that starting next week. So you are going to have more regular podcast episodes other than just the Form Fridays, which I know for everybody listening, audio only obviously isn't going to be able to get the full benefit from it. So don't, fret. We will have more regular uh, podcast episodes, and you're going to hear some stuff that's outside of fitness. Still a lot of fitness stuff, but outside of fitness too. And I think that'll be helpful for you guys. So let me go ahead and share my screen. We're going to get into our Lift and Learn community. Our clients have been popping off in here more regularly, which is really cool to see. Been really enjoying seeing a lot of their videos and their progress. Let's go ahead and get that done for you guys. So here we go. First up, we have Truly. Here we go. Deadlifts once again. 155 for five. First and second set, just different angles for viewing. I like that she's telling us how much weight there is because sometimes it's hard to tell. I like that she's not muting so we can hear her breathing. And I also like, actually, I got to make sure that I'm adding the audio in there too when I share. Let's do that real quick.
Oh, you can do that. I didn't know
Share
that.
settings. I also like that she's telling us which set they are. So we know, if it's her first set and it looks really easy or easier, that makes sense. Is it here? Share select. Why is it just share with audio, not just like a simple, easy button? I don't know if this is
Maybe it's because your mic.
sharing with audio, but I'm looking at audio
Can you
settings.
hear me at
Sorry
all?
for the delay here, everybody. It won't take too long, I don't think.
You can't hear me, can you?
From toolbar, share sound. There we go. That will make sense. Okay, so we can hear this now, I think. Nope, I can't hear you.
I've been talking, so
Yeah, I can't hear you. And I can't hear my desktop now, which is really interesting. All right, let's get this paused for a second while we figure this stuff out.
for everyone listening, I just text.
Okay, we got it all sorted out. There's some weird automation things. When I'm trying to share this, then it turns this thing off automatically. There's no notice on it. It was a pain in the ass. I fucking hate technology. Okay, so we've got Truly with her deadlifts here. Big thing for Truly that we were really trying to get her to do properly was to pull the slack out of the bar and get her hips at the right height. So let's take a look and see. Okay, breathing's good. I'm going to turn this off.
Bar is so much closer to your shins.
Yeah,
Great.
that looks way better. I really don't know how much feedback needs to be given here. I think there was, yeah, your first rep, you didn't pull the slack out very well, but after that, and that's pretty common for a lot of people, it's the first rep that they need to be more intentional with pulling the slack out truly. And then following that, it looks pretty good. So, um, let's go ahead and try taking a look at this again.
I find that the first rep when I was deadlifting heavy, the first rep isn't always the prettiest just because every time you go back down with the bar, you're back in a good position. Whereas like on your first rep, you don't exactly know the position of your body quite yet, which is why your hips rise ever so slightly. But then your other reps, it doesn't happen because you're already in that position.
Yeah, and I don't think that there's anything that either one of us can tell you that's going to be any different from what you've heard before. It's just making sure you're emphasizing pulling the slack on that first rep a little bit more. And don't, I think honestly, the biggest thing for you truly is like don't overthink anything that we're saying right now. Just continue to hone in and sharpen your technique.
Hmm.
Don't get lazy with the technique. Just keep honing in on it. So this is your first set. It looks pretty easy. And then let's take a look at your second set. Let's do that one more time. Yeah, this is overall really good again.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Looks so much better.
It looks a million times better.
You're gonna get so strong
Hmm.
now. Like, you're already strong, but
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot stronger. Definitely add a bit more weight to the bar, and if you have to, truly, you bring the bar down, like literally let your hips rise up, relax here, like take a breath, right? Because you know how when you're a kid, you're playing sports or running around or whatever, and you get super tired, you put your hands on your knees and bend over to kind of get some more air. And then every coach back then, and there's probably still dozens of coaches who would say this, would say, get your hands off your knees. It makes you look tired and weak. And if you want to breathe better, put your hands behind your head. That physiologically is backwards. Like your lungs open up better and your diaphragm opens up better when your hands are on your knees. That's why naturally you do that. Like your body knows what it needs to do. So if you need to, take a second, let your hips come up so that you can be in that kind of like hands on your knees, relax, take a deep breath position and take another breath. You don't have to rip rep after rep after rep. If that means you're going to get more tired and it's harder to get that last rep, or you can't add 5 more pounds because you're so tired by the fifth rep, then give yourself a second. Like you can take 5, 10 seconds between reps if you really need to. If it means you can lift heavier, like please do that. Anything you'd add on this one?
no, I think it's just time to go heavier because I mean it's always gonna feel harder than it looks,
Hmm.
but um that's where we make a lot of progress is like really, really pushing our body to those limits.
Yeah, it's definitely yeah, and that's where we're going to find more technical breakdowns. Like let's try to uncover some more technical breakdowns by adding some more weight to this bar. You're strong enough to add more. I know it feels really really heavy, but it like looking at you and looking at you move the weight, you can definitely add more weight. It's just that first half especially for you is feeling really tough. But just like when I was there with you in person, just fucking keep driving. You're going to be able to do it. Then we got Jess Coster feeling good at 215 for 5 reps, 4 sets. Impressed with how smooth and easy. I already looked at this earlier. This is really cool. We're
Was
gonna
this
hear
one
the
on her Instagram, I think? Yeah.
yeah, she did post it. So, so doesn't sound like you're breathing very much. I don't know if there's one breath right there, and following that, yeah, very gentle, quiet breaths. Um, you're gonna get more tired doing that. And why don't you go ahead and give her some feedback here?
Yeah, thank you, muting it. Um, this is definitely going up way faster and smoother
Yeah.
than past deadlifts. Um, this is another thing that I want to note about the barbell plates. It looks like the heavier ones are on the outside, which I think can make it harder. So it's going to be a little bit more setup and takedown. I don't know for sure. I actually want to look this up. I'm going to make a note about it just because I feel like if the weight is farther away from you, the heavier weight is farther away, it's going to make it harder. That's what I'm thinking. But anyways, that's besides the point. Um, form wise, it looks like you're pushing through the floor more. You're not doing as much of a straight leg deadlift as you were doing before, but especially on that first rep, you can really see, and the second rep, you can really see your butt go up first and then your knees kind of follow along behind. So I think for you, Jess, the one thing that I really want to focus on here is just thinking about driving through the floor with your feet. That's going to feel a lot more, you're going to feel a little bit more in your quads, but I think we need that just because you are lifting a lot with your back on that second half of the rep. Right when it gets past your knees, it's like a hip thrust, like your knees are almost straight. right there. You can kind of see
Yeah.
it. Um, so I think if you're consciously thinking about push my feet through the floor from the very start of the rep to the very end, you're going to be in a better position because right now you're just like lift the weight, which is great too. I like the aggression, I like the force behind it. But yeah, from here to the top is all like a Romanian deadlift. Right there. You can kind of see like your knees are almost straight. We're in a
Hmm.
Romanian deadlift position. So consciously think about drive feet through the floor, drive through. Do not let anything move. Just push your feet through the floor, and that way you're gonna stand up kind of all at one and a lot more smooth. So that's the only thing that I have for you right now. And also a little bit, the bar is just too far away at the very beginning from you need to bring it to your shin a little bit closer. So if we want to see that one more time. So from here to when she just lifts it up. Maybe not that one. Okay, you can kind of see the bar wobble a little bit. So right here, bar is not in midfoot. We want it in midfoot position. It's a little bit farther on your toes, which is probably why you feel like you have to lift with your back a little bit more because it's just a little bit too far out in front of you. So bring that to your shins a little bit closer,
Hmm.
and then from there you'll be able to push through the floor more effectively. Right here, you see where the bar is? Way too far. Go right before that one. No more before. Yeah. Right when you put it down, look how far it is, and that's where you pull from. Now play. And then it swings back. We want it to be in a straight line position the whole time, which is why on this rep, on all the reps, you're kind of lifting with your hips first. The bar needs to be in midfoot position. And then I think from there it's going to feel so much better.
Yeah, you can hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I would say like Jess, so here's a couple things, all right? First off, I think, and I've already said this to you, but I want to make sure that everybody else watching this understands this too. Keep your head straight. Don't crank your head backwards or over to the side. When I messaged her when I saw this video, I was like, dude, what the fuck? And she
There's
said,
the
oh, I
dog.
was she said my
Sorry.
my husband, I was worried he was gonna, knock over the tripod or something like that. Okay.
Mm.
Um, thanks for the explanation, but don't do it. Like for your safety, right? You fucking up your neck like that. That's they could be pretty bad.
So
Um,
true.
now here's something that's like really badass. Here's the thing that I want to say is really cool. You're just you just have a lot of raw strength. Like in the
Mm-hmm.
time that we've spent together, you being able to do 215 for multiple reps looking this smooth and full transparency with technique like this is really impressive. So you're just like ripping this weight because we've just gotten you strong as fuck. Now, if we could get your technique better, which I think there's a lot of improvement to get your technique better, a lot of opportunity for that, then you're going to be pulling 245 off the ground for this many reps. Like you could probably do that right now. You probably have the strength to do that right now, but because of the way that you're pulling, you're really inefficient with your movement. It's probably causing a bit of back pain. So you feel like you need to stop a little bit early, like all that kind of stuff. If you were to add another 10 pounds each side right now, you'd be like, oh my God, my back is like fucked. It hurts so bad. That's more of a technique thing than anything. So one thing, like we've said this before, and this is for other people, Jess has already told me, but she has some like custom orthotics and she's got some foot problems, so she has to wear these like cushiony, foamy shoes. For everybody else, you should be either barefoot or on like barefoot shoes. Like I wear these shoes that have zero cushion, zero give. They're completely flat. They have a really, really wide toe box. They're designed to feel like you are barefoot. Um, or at the very least Converse or Vans. They have narrower toe boxes, but at the very least they're very flat. Okay, so that's the first thing is let's get everybody else flat foot shoes. Next thing, you are aggressive, which is really really good. You're violent when you lift the weight, really really good. So most women miss, but you're chaotic too. You're kind of like Angela's already kind of touched on a specific thing with the bar placement and all that stuff. But it goes to say with a lot of other parts of this lift, they look a little bit chaotic. So when you lift this weight too, maybe not the first rep so much, but if you watch your feet, just watch where your feet are when you lift each time. Your feet look like you're shifting your weight to the front and back of your foot multiple times as you're pulling. Like you start with it looks like 80% of your body weight is on the balls of your feet right now. And then as you pull, you shift your weight back towards your heels, which makes sense with the feedback Angela gave you. You kick your butt up really high. So you start pulling, and now your weight's shifting to midfoot here. And now your weight's like 60% on your heel here. You need to be planted in the ground. So even when you put the weight down at the very end, like you're on the balls of your feet, your heels are coming up. And this is, yeah, you're putting the weight down at the very end. So it's like you don't need to be perfect, I guess, on that one, but it tracks with the way that you lift the weight for every other rep too. Weight shifts down, weight shifts to the front at the bottom, weight shifts to the back at the top. Your hips are kicking up, your head's cranked over to the side. Take a breath, get stable, plant your feet in the ground. One of my first coaches ever when I was like 10 years old, they said, your feet are in concrete. You can't move your feet. Your feet don't shift around. They stay planted in the ground. So get planted. And then before you lift that weight off the ground, so imagine this is your first rep. You need to use the weight of that bar to pull yourself towards the bar while kind of kicking your hips up a touch. So right here, this is kind of like this is a good position, but you're not driving your weight into the ground. This is like really good with your back and your hips. This looks great, but your weight's on the balls of your feet because that bar is almost over top of your toes. Bring the bar closer to your mid shin or right to the middle of your foot. That's going to naturally allow your weight to shift back towards your feet a bit more. And now you're not pulling with 80% of your weight on the balls of your feet and then shifting back. So it's just you're just kind of chaotic when you're lifting. Just try to be a little bit more planted.
Totally. One more thing I just want to add, just like in general, like you and Truly have been in this container for quite a while, and it's just now that that Truly is really getting the hang of her form. So it takes a long time. So if you
Hmm.
feel that like you're really strong, Jess, you're really strong and like we said to Truly, it's like, okay, now that you've perfected your form, you're gonna get really strong. You have strength already, and then imagine how strong you're gonna be in the future when you perfect these things. Like it's gonna be night and day difference, which is really exciting.
Yeah, 100%. Like I sometimes I catch myself giving a lot of feedback and I find that I'm really critical and like if any of this stuff kind of is painful in a way to hear or you get frustrated with it or you feel disappointed after listening to this feedback, like don't allow the feedback to make you feel negative about either yourself or your confidence or anything. Like the fact that you are in here and continuing to push yourself and continuing to post these videos,
For
it
sure.
says a lot about your character and your hard work and your desire to improve yourself. So don't
Hmm.
stop posting these. Don't stop trying to seek getting better. Something that truly, shared with me in a message just yesterday was like, I feel, frustrated that I'm still working on my technique. I'm like, dude, I've been at this shit for 21 years. I'm still working on my technique. I film myself deadlifting almost every time I deadlift. And sure, I'm a content creator, coach, and post online. Like, so that's part of my job. But every single time that I look at one of my videos, I am critiquing my own form
Hmm.
and technique. And I
It's
don't
never gonna
see it
end.
it's not something that we look at for ourselves as coaches and go, oh, I wish I'd be better with this. Oh, this is frustrating. That's a mindset. Instead, we look at it and we're like, okay, cool, I can get better there. Oh, cool, like I could even get better there. And the fact that we could look at that and say, wow, I could even get better now, even 20 years into the game, it, for me, and I'm sure Angela has the same feeling, it gets us fired up. It's like, I've been doing this long and I've made this much progress and there's still opportunity for me to hone in my technique better. That means that I could be even more powerful when I get better with this stuff. Not, oh, woe is me. I'm still not perfect. Like the best of the world have coaches for a reason because they're always trying to get better.
Totally.
Yeah. So
Nerves.
this is Max. Max is an absolute G, ex university baseball athlete.
Heck yeah.
And he came into this with a lot of experience, a lot of strength. He's really well developed already, and he just wants to have better habits and he wants to improve his technique and actually know how to structure a routine. He's always had a coach with sports telling him exactly what to do, and now he's hired a coach, me, so that he can not just get better but also know what to do for himself down the road. So
Do we know what weight this is?
I think this is 315. did he say in here? 325. All right, let's take a look at this setup again. So I like how, see, this is like Max has more experience than most people in this program. And look at how slow and deliberate he is and intentional with getting himself set up. You would think that, you know, because he's been doing this so long, he'd be able to just get under the bar and lift it up and go ahead and start squatting right away. But that's actually what we see in people who are less experienced. So ensure that you are, it doesn't matter if it's a warm up weight or a PR weight, you are taking your time, being intentional, getting positioned under the bar. He took, like, we're 30 seconds in, he hasn't even lifted the weight off of the rack yet, which is good. He's being very intentional with his positioning. He's focused on his brace and then he lifted. Very little energy wasted getting set up. Now he's going to rebrace. You can see his breath. So Max has a high bar position with the bar on his back. We're not quite getting to the depth that we'd like to see. I wonder, it looks like it's hard to tell, but I like that he's one barefoot too. You don't have your heels elevated, Max. If you elevated your heels on even 2.5 pound plates, I think
They
that
actually
would.
have the things
Oh,
there, the
right. Yeah.
wedges. Yeah.
Yeah, they have wedges there. They even have, I think, like a 1x6 little piece of wood that you can put on your. I've used that before too.
When you're in socks, though, it's not ideal.
Right. A little bit uncomfortable, but
Hmm.
yeah, the depth there, we're an inch or two away from the depth that we're looking for there, Max.
I also find when we get depth, my adductors just light up so much more.
Mm,
Actually, I want to see from the start of the squat, not the beginning of the video, but
it's hard to. I need to get this toolbar out of the way because I can't grab the. You can't see the toolbar, right?
no.
No.
Yeah, good brace.
So see, we can see him taking this big breath into his belly, and you can see his belly expanding a little bit. That's his diaphragm getting locked in. So that was really good.
How tall is he?
Max, I believe, is 5'11", maybe 6 foot.
Okay.
Yeah. So the biggest feedback that, and I've given this to Max already, is that this is like a big thing for a lot of ex-athletes too, is wanting to push yourself to the max all the time. And Max is in week 2 right now of this current 8-week training block. And the intention is to start with weights that are moderate intensity so that he can build that up over time. Because if he starts at max effort on week 1, or 90-95% of max effort for 5 reps, which let's imagine is 315, and then this is week 2, he's at 325, he really doesn't have a lot of room to grow from here over the next 7-6 weeks. So he's going to find himself getting stuck with his progressions, and a couple things will happen. Either one, he's just not able to add more weight to the bar, or he does try to add more weight to the bar and his technique starts to suffer. Um, or, and this is going to happen either way, he's going to start fatiguing really, really fast. Like he's not going to last 6 more weeks of high intensity with heavier weights every week because his body's he's already near max effort. So the
Hmm.
smarter thing to do, if Max's full capacity is him being able, like, let me rephrase that. If he's starting off at 315 and that's 90% max effort in week 1, then he's probably going to cap out somewhere around 335. Let's imagine, right? We're just using some random numbers. But if he started off at 295 in week one, which for him is going to feel too light, he's going to be frustrated because he's like, I didn't feel like I got a good enough workout. But at 295 in week one, that turns into 315 in week two, 315, or sorry, 305 in week two, 315 week three, 325 week four. We're only halfway through the cycle at this point. And then now he's going to 335. Then he's going to 340 and then 345. And now we're getting really beat up at 345, but he has 1 or 2 more weeks left. He can probably add a little bit more weight, maybe not all the way up to 355 eventually. But my point is that if he starts too heavy in week one, he's going to finish at week 8 with an ultimate lesser weight than if he started at 295 and slowly built up and allowed his body time to adapt.
Totally.
So, biggest thing for you on that, Max, is give your body a little bit more wiggle room to add weight and consider that you have 6 to 8 weeks of progressions that you have to build on top of this.
And also, when you do lighter weight, you're going to be able to get that depth, and that's going to be the base now, is getting that full depth.
Yeah. Yeah. Rather than, slowly cheating your height or your depth and then eventually going for like a 1 rep max one day and fucking up your back or your knees or something because your body's just not used to getting that low.
Yeah, I think overall, obviously, your experience, we can all see that. We know
Hmm.
that. I think the one thing when I was in powerlifting, I heard from my coach all the time at the very beginning when I started is like, you're going down too slow. You're wasting a lot of energy. And you want to go down as fast as you can with good brace and still staying really, really tight. I just think this eccentric that you're doing is a little bit too slow. And instead we want like speed down and then powerful up. I think that's going to make a really big difference. Obviously, I don't want you to like just fall down. I don't want you to be like all wiggly and willy-nilly. But overall, going down with a little more speed is actually going to help you in the long run, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. Before you start telling him,
Oh, you're going to see his
just gonna
tempo.
check. Yeah, I just want to check to see his tempo real quick. I think that I did speed it up though, for that exact reason. So let's take a
Mhm.
look and see what we've got for Mac. Oh, I can't look at it there. We got to look at it here. And Instagram is probably looking at my super dirty desk right now. Let's see. So when we get to your back squat, it's 2 2 X2. So he does have a 2 second pause right now.
2 second pause or 2 second lowering?
Both.
Pause at the top or bottom?
Both.
Hmm. Okay. In that case,
Yeah, it's a solid. I think the tempo is appropriate for what we're asking.
okay.
Um,
Can you share your screen again?
oh, sorry. Yeah. Are we? Nope, can't do it from there, can I? Oh, okay. I guess we're looking at the whole thing. All right. Max, I think the biggest thing for you right now, man, is going to be the upper back bracing. So if we can, upper back brace is scapula retracted nice and tight, armpits pushed down towards the hips. Okay. And then pulling that bar down onto your back really tight. You should feel a lot of tension in your upper back. Your traps should feel really, really knotted up. And making sure that you're able to maintain that as you're coming back up. Because what I find for a lot of people is when they are lowering, we're good because you've got all this and you have this perfect integrity and you're thinking about your bracing and your holding and everything. But then on the way up, all of our entire bandwidth of energy in our brain goes into push with my legs, push with my legs. And then the upper body bracing starts to kind of give way a little bit. So make sure, like, the easiest way to continue having an awesome brace is pulling that bar down into your back. I think you're doing an okay job of it. We can see that you start to get a little bit on this, like the second and third rep, starting to get a little bit more fatigued, and that's starting to weaken you a little bit. But overall, man, I think there's not a ton for you to think about. I think if
Hmm.
there's one really big takeaway for you, Max, it's don't add any more weight for right now. Like you might not need to add any weight for 2, 3, even 4 weeks. Let's just work on getting that depth and being really powerful and explosive on that tempo. Remember, it's 2 2. So on the way back up, very, very explosive. Overall, great job, though. I think it's great.
Hell yeah.
Okay, band assisted pull ups. Aubrey said, I don't know if I'm ready for band assisted pull ups yet. It just feels really tough. And I said, I got an idea. Add a second band, make it a little bit easier. So that would be definitely the feedback. Yeah, the band's not strong enough. You need a stronger band. The band
What
looks,
about the setup that I talked about, Aubrey, on the squat racks? I decided to try that too.
yeah, and just talking about having with the safety bars out. This isn't a squat rack, obviously, but if you
Hmm.
had the two safety bars in a squat rack and then using the band horizontally across the safety bars and you can
Safety
stand on
bars
top
or
of
the
it,
J hooks. I
or the
usually
J
just do the
hooks.
J hooks is easier.
Yeah.
Because then that way you can actually adjust where that band is sitting. And if you want it higher up, it's going to be easier. If you want it lower, it's going to be harder.
Yeah, you need a second band or you need one bigger, thicker band. Simple as that, yo. Just like you
Totally.
wouldn't grab the little skinny red band because you're not strong enough for it yet. You're not strong enough for this one either. Let's go ahead and grab a second band, make it a little bit easier.
Same kind of concept as you're talking about with max. If you're constantly trying to max effort every single time, it's going to be hard to progress. So let's start off a little bit easier. Second band, thicker band, whatever way you want to do it to get to the required rep range at the RPE or RIR given,
Yeah.
then you're going to be able to progress a lot faster.
And then I think this might be the number one most important tip that anybody could take away from this entire call is just because you can't get all the reps doesn't mean you should stop.
Hmm.
Okay. So whether that is doing some type of machine pulling exercise, I can imagine, or pushing. Let's imagine this because it's just so easy for us to all imagine doing this. You're doing a machine bench press, a seated machine chest press. You've done 8 reps. You're supposed to be able to do 8 to 10. You've been stuck at 8 reps with this weight for 4 or 5 weeks now, and you're frustrated. Don't just stop because you can't get another entire ninth repetition. Go from the bottom and push as hard as you can. You're going to be able to move the weight a little bit at the very least. You're probably going to get it halfway. In
Hmm.
fact, a lot of you probably can get that ninth rep. You just don't know that you need to push. You just don't know that you physically can do it if you push hard enough. You're used to pushing to a certain point, and mentally, then you're like, oh, this is very, very hard, and then you check out. You're like, once I've hit this level of intensity, this is now very, very hard. And if the weight's not going all the way up, once I've achieved this subjective, very, very hard feeling in my mind, then I have to stop. But what if, let's imagine for a second, you could push harder? What if you could push with the same level of intensity for another 5 seconds? If you did that, you'd probably get the weight all the way up. And even if you can't, at the very least, getting that extra half rep, it counts a lot.
Totally.
Like old school bodybuilders would tell you that you don't even start counting your reps until it starts to burn. Like doesn't none of the reps matter. They literally in their logbooks won't even count the repetitions they're completing until it starts to burn the muscle. So think about that for a second. And yeah, like science and education and our knowledge around fitness has changed so much, but those basic principles of pushing yourself really, really hard, those will never, ever, ever go away. So if you can't, just because truly, sorry, I'm looking at Truly on Instagram here, just because you can't get that fourth rep or that third rep or whatever it is, don't stop right there. You gave up on that rep and it's done. Okay, fine. You can't get that rep. That's okay. Come back down, take a second, use your legs, jump up to the top, and negative control on the way down. You could do that, right? Is that gonna be hard? And is that like asking your body to adapt? Is that making you make more progress? Yes, it is hard. It hurts, and it's me doing more work. It sounds so basic, but literally that is the recipe for you to make more progress. So just because your thing says 3 to 5 reps and you can't get any more full regular reps, Like get creative and figure out ways to continue pushing your body a little bit more. Jump up, do three more negatives. I didn't need a coach to tell me that when I was bodybuilding, that when I'm stuck at this certain amount of weight for a certain amount of time, you know, if I'm getting frustrated because I'm not making progress with something, do something about it. Like I would get somebody to help. I would grab Angela or some random dude at the gym I've never spoken to or looked at in my entire life and said, "Hey, bro, this is my last set. Can you give me a spot?" He's like, "Sure." I'm like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna do as many as I can. I can probably get five or six, but I need your help. I want to get like four more negatives afterwards. So once I fail, just pull the weight up and let me control the negative." And they go, "Okay, perfect." Like literally, it could be as simple as you having that one conversation that pushes you to the next level in your fitness journey, or you can continue staying frustrated and not making as much progress as you feel like you should. Like that's literally that's my mindset. That's what's helped me make progress. I'm not saying you have to think that same very analytical, hard, and aggressive way, but I'm telling you that that is the actual physical process of you getting better. One more time. So we get, you know, we're getting close to a full rep. That last one, okay, you can't get it. That's fine. Jump back down. Do jump with your legs up to the top. Do five more negatives. Keep ripping a little bit more intensity. You will be able to get that rep if you do those little things. Okay. So Sylvia is fit as fuck. She has a very, very extensive fitness background and now has, as you can probably imagine, her dream body. Looking at her, she's fucking super jacked and ripped and all the good stuff. By the way, everybody, Sylvia is in her 40s. She has a back injury. She gained, I think it was over 40 pounds, and then came into this program. We've lost the weight within her first 5 months. She still had a month left in the program, renewed anyways, signed up. So we're working together for a year. And now we're just working on posture and getting strong.
Heck yeah.
Okay. She's a mom. Her kids are all in sports. She's up at like 4:30 in the morning getting her workouts done, driving her kids around, going to work, preparing dinners for everybody. She doesn't make any fucking excuses. And she competes in our little goofy challenges we do every single month and doesn't complain about a thing ever. She books her calls, she does her check-ins on time, she asks questions, she shows up, she just works her ass off. And
Nice.
lo and behold, she looks fucking amazing. So Sylvia, I told her post this in the group because she's just so CrossFit through and through. CrossFit, they're very explosive, powerful. They don't really practice a lot of strict movements. Everything is mostly about efficiency. Now, her negative eccentric, like her control in the negative, is really, really good. And her positioning is really good. Like she knows mind muscle connection. This is effectively perfect. Sylvia, the thing for you that I want you to focus on is watch when you pull this weight up. When you start pulling this weight up, your brain shifts into power clean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Watch your shoulders. Whoop, you got this huge rise in your shoulders. Your shoulders are coming up. It looks like you're about to high pull this weight up to your chin. Keep your shoulders depressed. It's armpits down to the hips. If you push your armpits down to your hips, if you just, while you're watching this, Sylvia, go ahead and do that. Push your armpits down to your hips. You are going to feel your lats light up. They are going to turn on. That is all part of your brace. So I know we're not in PR territory yet because we're still being mindful of your back, but you will be able to lift heavier weight and do it safer when you keep your armpits depressed the entire time. You also have a bit of a hyperextension at the top, right there. You're leaning way too far back. This is not getting any extra glute activation. Not that you've said that that's an important thing for you or anything. I think that you're just really trying to, again, back to like CrossFit standards, they need to be very like over the top with making sure the rep is totally completed because the way that she would be doing this in competition would be that the judge needs to make sure that she's reached full extension, but you're
Mm-hmm.
going over extension to overemphasize that. All this is doing, let's go back here. From here is basically where you need to stop. Okay, now your shoulders have come up, but keep the shoulders down. This is basically where you need to stop. From here to here, the only thing that's getting activated is your L5 S1 disc. That's what's getting the work. That's what's taking the pressure here. So don't do that to yourself. Stop at the top. Once your spine, hips, and knees are perpendicular with the floor, like this is pretty good. You're starting to get into that extension at this spot, but here to here, that is 100%
Hmm.
low back pain injury. And you may not feel so much of it right now, but over time it will develop and you're going to get more confident. You're going to lift heavier weights. You're going to get stronger, more powerful. And then boom, we blow something. So just be mindful of that overextension and shoulder depression.
Yeah, overall, you're very strong, clearly. And also when you start increasing that weight too, Sylvia, you won't be able to shrug up as much. Like just keep your arms straight the whole time, like you're pulling your fists to the floor constantly, like Taylor said. But overall, you can definitely tell that she's CrossFitter
Yeah,
for
in
sure.
in the best way possible. Like
Oh yeah,
CrossFit
nothing wrong with
athletes
it.
are absolute freaks. Like I
Yeah.
was bodybuilding and thought I was going to compete at national bodybuilding. I qualified for it and then I watched a CrossFit documentary and I called my coach and said I'm doing CrossFit and started practicing handstands and double unders. They're the most badass, like those people work their fucking asses off. And if you want to know what it takes to like really push yourself in fitness, go try doing a CrossFit class and see how fit you really are because you will get fucked up. Emmy, very good to see you here. Let's see. We got dumbbell shoulder press at 17 and a half per hand, and then we have bent over dumbbell row, 65 pounds. So Emmy is new. She is in her first genuine strength training block after she's finished up her foundations, her first month. And let's take a look and see. What did we say? Romaine? Oh, bent over row. That's right.
This sweet little gym.
It is a sweet little gym. Do you have like your husband or a kid on a walking pad while they're filming here?
That's it.
Uh, okay, very cool. Very controlled, very intentional. I really like the deep stretch at the bottom here. This is good. Like we are not cutting off range of motion at all in any way. That looks great. Good aggressive pull. And what would you say?
I would say overall, I think you need to actively think about sticking your butt out a little bit more, just because when this does get heavier, your back looks really flat and it is, but I think if you do a little bit more of a like not a pelvic tilt, but actively thinking about, okay, stick my butt out a little bit more, you're gonna engage your lower back and therefore have a stronger brace, have a stronger solid foundation because eventually this is going to turn into heavier weights, like up to like 135. And you're going to be like, oh, wait, I feel like I'm not super stable. I think that's the
Mhm.
only thing, like ever so slightly, just really thinking about bracing and then sticking your butt out a little bit more. Otherwise, like you can clearly see that you're pushing near the end too.
Yeah, it's interesting, Emmy, because like if we just look, if we had like a checklist of things that you need to do properly and to have an effective lift, I think you check most of those boxes. It's like move slow and controlled, check. Like have, like have good tempo, check. Full range of motion, check. Back
Hmm.
is flat, check. Pushing yourself hard, check. You're checking those boxes, but there's one that is rarely spoken about and when you are learning how to train with a level of intensity that's required to build muscle, it feels very different from the exercise that you are typically used to doing. You do a lot of spin class, you do a lot of yoga, you teach yoga. That's a lot of rhythm and flow and calm, relaxed energy. You still have with this lift that calm, relaxed flow energy that you're trying to utilize with strength training and it doesn't translate.
Totally.
So, what's happening is because you don't have a lot of violence or intensity or tension in your body, you are making this weight feel way harder than it is. Your body is physically capable of lifting a lot more than you think, but it feels heavy because you are relaxed. Your mind is very calm when you lift. And we need to do the exact opposite when we are training for strength and muscle building. We need to be violent, we need to be tense, we need to be aggressive. So, what I would ask you is if someone came over and poked you in the shoulder gave you a little push in the shoulder, would you stumble 3 or 4 steps over to the side, or would you be able to keep your balance and stable and kind of resist back against me if I were to push you? And I imagine that your answer, just by watching how you lift, would be I'd probably stumble over a couple steps. So, what you need to think about doing is creating a lot of tension in your body by squeezing your muscles very, very hard. And the way that you can practice doing this, Emmy, is without even lifting any weights. Before you go pick up that weight, I want you to just stand there like a really angry, stubborn, problematic child who didn't get what they want. Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about when that kid who's like right on the verge of about to throw a temper tantrum in a store because their mom said you can't have a Tamagotchi. Throwback to my sister when she was like 6 years old. And you need to do this. Like, you need to have this
Nice. Screenshot, everyone.
energy where you just like squeeze everything and you're really angry. Oh, that tension in your body is what you need with every single repetition, every time you get set up with your weights. Before you lift that weight off the ground, you're going to angry temper tantrum redhead kid, and then pick the weight up off the ground and maintain that intensity and pull. You should feel so tense that if we were to like pull you on either end of your body and then let you go, you would snap like an elastic band in the opposite direction. That's the type of intention and tension in your body that we need to create.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay. I encourage you to take a look at how some other people are lifting weights in this form, and then take a look at yours again, and you'll be able to see what I'm saying. They look very tense and very um,
Rigid.
rigid. Yeah, exactly. Okay, pay attention to the workout, Taylor.
Yes.
Stop looking at your daughter making funny faces. Okay. So I do really like that you have the bench at a bit of an angle so that you can comfortably press the weights directly overhead. Some people might look at this and be like, that's too low. No, you don't need the bench is just there to allow your body to be in the right position. What we're looking for is where are the weights being pressed? The weights start right here and it should finish right here. Ha, look at that. That looks great. That said, is your arm at a 180-degree angle right now? Is it perfectly perpendicular with the floor? If we were to draw a line, I should get some type of tool where I can draw on Zoom or something. But if we were to draw a line from here through your shoulder all the way down to the floor, would we be at a right angle with the floor, or would we be at a bit of an acute angle, like 80 degrees? We'd probably be at about 80 degrees right now. What we want is for your weights to finish basically right over your skull. See how it's finished? The weights are right above kind of like your nose or your chin. What you're doing is you're putting a little bit too much pressure on the front of your shoulder, which is sounds counterintuitive because like that's the goal is to put tension on the shoulder for this press, but we want it to be powerful. We want to stack your joints. We want shoulder, elbow, wrist stacked straight on top of each other. That's where you're strongest. The further in front of your weight, imagine if you tried to press that weight out here. Like there's no way you would drop that weight onto your thighs because you couldn't hold it out in front of you here. So right straight up and down is what we're going for.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
Um, I think a lot of people, when they think of shoulder press, they're like, all right, shoulders out, elbows out as much as possible, which actually can cause a lot more tension on our joints. Instead, you should actually be bringing in your elbows a little bit instead of out here. You're going to feel a lot stronger if we bring in your elbows a little bit more as well. It looks like you're almost trying to like force your elbows out to the side as much as
Mm-hmm.
possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So bring in your elbows a little bit.
you've got a lot of this flaring happening, but if you
Yeah.
just brought them right here, you'd feel a lot more comfortable, a lot more powerful.
Also, something that I say with every client is like push your feet through the floor the entire time. A
Yeah.
lot of people forget about the force coming from the floor. That's really important in bench press and any upper body exercise, really, when you're pushing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, set your feet wider, have a good base, plant your feet. Again, it's the same principle of like have tension in your body. So if you have tension in your body when you're doing one exercise and it makes you stronger, how is that going to translate to every other exercise? Yeah, this is a shoulder press. Yeah, you're using your upper body, but imagine if you were using your big, powerful legs and driving them into the floor to create more tension all the way up through your body, right? Like imagine, pretend you're not even shoulder pressing and you just have your feet planted on the floor and you're just sitting in a chair, and then you just threw your feet, like pushed your feet into the floor and kicked them out as hard as you can. And your feet like came off the ground like a leg extension. You just kicked your feet off the floor as hard as you can. That chair would shoot back a little bit, right? It would shoot back a couple inches. So it's that same pressure and tension that you're doing without actually kicking your feet off the floor that will actually generate more power through your legs and up in your upper body. You'll be
Hmm.
more stable and be able to lift more weight. Big thing for you, Emmy, overall, like you have good technique, you have good range of motion. Again, you're checking the boxes, but you're relaxed. So let's get tense. Make all your muscles tense when you lift. Squeeze the weight in your hand very, very hard. And then use that same intention everywhere else. And this, I believe, we did this last time. Yeah,
Yes,
she
you
posted
did.
that right before. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much.
Amazing.
Appreciate you. Hope you guys have an amazing Friday and weekend. Angela
Woohoo.
and I are going to go play croquet, which I believe is some version of golf and bocce ball, and I'm really excited. So,
Something like
yeah,
that.
tis all, everybody. Have a good one. If you're a client, post your biggest takeaways in the Hinton Nation community. If you're not a client, you're thinking about working with either Angela or I, shoot us a message on Instagram at Hinton Nation _ coaching for me or for Angela.
Coach.angela.hinton.
And we will get back to you as quickly as we can to help you out. That's it. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.